Hello, everybody. We just got done watching my all-time favorite monster movie, a movie that Jared has not seen before, Cloverfield. Uh, directed by J.J. Abrams, came out in 2008. I didn't see it in 2008 because I was too young. It would have scared the crap out of me because I was a little scaredy baby.
Let's see, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
So you would have been
I would have
10?
been 10. Yeah, I would have been 10. And my dad loved it, and I couldn't wait to watch it for some reason. This is my all-time favorite monster movie. I said that earlier, but it's because it's not. I mean, all by itself. It's a good movie, but it's one of those movies where you have to really look at other stuff, not necessarily in the movie, to find out some of the lore. And I think that's really cool. I like digging into different things in movies to find out more. I always find that interesting.
Unrelated, I just realized I didn't put the connecting piece in the glasses.
Oh well,
It's not important.
if they can't tell it's glasses, then that's their own fault. So let's go ahead and just start off with Jared's opinion of it, and then we'll talk more about some of the deeper stuff.
Alright, it was a pretty good movie. I've watched some movies that were shorter than that, and it felt like it dragged on forever, but this had a good pace, and it wasn't that gory, except for the bite,
Yeah,
but even the bite wasn't
yeah.
that
And
bad.
you're talking about pacing. There's a lot of moments where there's build up to the monster, you see the monster, and then you don't see the monster for a while. Like, it's good like that. It's not just nothing but monster or nothing but no monster.
That was a problem a lot of people had with the newest Alien movie. It was a lot brighter, and you could really clearly see the xenomorphs.
Well-
whereas if you look back at the original Alien,
Yeah, it takes a while for you to actually see what it looks like.
and for the most part, it's in the dark, and you see it in like flashes
Yeah.
and like
Well, then
wires.
people were complaining because they couldn't see it.
No, people were
'cause they
complaining
could see it.
too much in the new. I think
But
it's
you already
Alien
know what it
Covenant.
looks like. Like, I
But
would be happy to see it all the time. It's such a cool looking thing.
It takes away a lot of the fear
Yeah.
if it's just out in the open.
But it was still scary to see it on that ship in the preview. I never saw
Yeah.
the actual movie, but
I
to
never
see it
saw
like
it either.
clicking at him,
I'm just kind of
just throwing that out there. Yeah,
we go on tangents.
we
a
do.
lot.
Yeah.
But back to Cloverfield. We were making the joke from Planet of the Apes with the Statue
Yeah.
of Liberty.
For those of you who don't know, this is the famous movie poster from this movie is of the Statue of Liberty without a head, and that's what the thumbnail is. That's why we did that. But if you just look up Cloverfield and see the poster, most likely you'll be like, oh yeah, I've seen that somewhere. Like, it just shows up a lot.
Yeah, but it's like the sand is uncovering this head of the Statue of Liberty in Planet of the Apes. You animals! You blew it up!
So
But that
it's
was
pretty cool.
That was
Actually,
my initial reaction.
yeah.
But just the way, like we were talking about, how the monster can destroy things without even trying.
Yeah.
How we think it's the tail that swiped the bridge.
Yeah.
And how it just crushed a tank under its foot just by stepping.
Yeah, we probably should have said at the beginning of this, spoilers, but since this movie came out in 2008, you're either trying to avoid it or you just don't want to see it. So,
Yeah.
but there are spoilers. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff in the movie, so.
Yeah, there's a monster in this movie.
Yeah, just letting you guys know.
And it, like... one thing, the spawns. The little...
Yeah.
The little monster babies.
Yeah. Those might have been the creepiest thing in there, honestly. Or one of the creepiest. Just the fact that they were super quiet. They, like, hunted.
Yeah.
Whereas the monster was just there. Like, you could always see the monster.
Alright,
But one of the things that Jared said was that he would just, like, because it was just the monster at the beginning, he said something along the lines of, oh, like, if this was me in this situation, I'd go down in the basement. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. But, and then there's actually a scene in the subway where there's a bunch of them that are down there with them. They're small enough to get into places that other people can. So, that added another layer to the normal monster movie kind of thing. I interrupted you. I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
I don't remember.
No, okay. Sorry, I should have let you talk.
Is there anything else I need to say for a general opinion, or you just want to jump into stuff?
Unless you have something else to say. Was it?
One thing, it's nitpicking.
Yeah.
But I don't know any of the characters' names.
Yeah.
I
One of them's HUD. That was the camera guy. I know that just because he was the guy from Deadpool. I'm starting to like that actor a little bit more.
but it's like I just gave them my own names to talk to you. Like
Yeah.
there's this girl with really thin arms. I just started calling her Pencil Girl, Pencil Lady,
Pencil arms.
and it's Cameraman and Sis, who's
Yeah.
the girlfriend of the brother of the main character.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
There's Explodey Girl.
Yeah. Yes, there was. Goodness. But in the same, like, as an argument to that, there, like, the movie's focus is on the monster, and whenever I watched this for the first time, I wasn't like, darn, I forgot all their names. I was like, man, that was a cool freaking monster. Which I understand where you're coming from, though. Like, it does kind of take away from the story if you don't know the characters.
It's not really about the monster. It's about the people's escape from it.
True.
And if I don't even know their names. I can't really get invested in their plight. I didn't really feel anything when they die.
You can't root for a character or this character.
Right. It's like, are you familiar with the trope called the everyman in literature?
Mm-mm.
It's the idea that there's a distinct character, but he represents all humanity.
Mm-hmm.
This felt like the opposite of that. They were very distinct characters, but they represented nothing.
Okay.
And it's like,
huh.
It's like a shadow without a face is how I can best describe it.
That's kind of neat. That is kind of how this film.
That's how this Cloverfield.
That's how this Cloverfield. Excuse me.
But, that's a minor gripe.
Yeah.
But
is there any other major thing that you found wrong with this, or that you really, really like that you want to say? Either one. I'm not gonna be offended.
This is a little detail, but I like the claw marks on the head of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Whenever it got knocked down.
Yeah, you could see like how big and strong this thing was.
Yeah.
It scratched into it with no problem.
I like the minor details that you can just pick up on.
Yeah.
Like, you can watch it and just be like, oh, it's a monster movie.
Yeah.
But there's little details that really set it apart, and I think that's neat.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. So, first thing we're going to say, and all the stuff I know may not be completely accurate, and I apologize for anybody who's going to call me out on this. I've watched a bunch of other people's YouTube videos on their description of what they think happened in this movie, and a lot of them are very similar, and it's just kind of what feels right sort of for this movie, so, but it may not be 100% correct. So, I know this for a fact, though. J.J. Abrams said that this monster was a baby of the monsters, of that species of monster.
I don't like that.
You don't like that? I thought that was neat. I thought it was neat that there's bigger ones.
It's spawning, though, so it has to be at least mature enough.
No, that wasn't necessarily spawning. I'll get to kind of that in a little bit. It was its own species that was kind of hooked onto it like a parasite.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of like a flea.
Yeah. So at the beginning, I was telling you about Slusho, the company. That what's his name is vice president of.
What's his name? See, I just called him Slusho Man.
Exactly, Slusho Man.
Well, Slushy Man.
At the beginning, that's what the party's for. This guy's going to Tokyo for.
Yeah, I gathered that.
For the Slusho thing. Something you don't find out in this movie is that Slusho is a company owned by another company called Taguato or something like that. Taguato.
Some Japanese word.
And they, in this universe, are like one of the most advanced companies out there. Like, they have really good equipment,
it's like
really
Google.
good. Yeah, sorta.
But for a different field.
Yeah.
But that kind of influence type thing.
Basically, yeah. So, when this movie came out, they kind of went on the Blair Witch kind of thing where they put a bunch of stuff online.
Okay.
For you to see. Like, there was fake news reports about stuff where it was like, this just happened, there's like a monster or something is going on. Another thing that Taguato owns is like a bunch of oil rigs in the middle of the ocean. One of them is really close to New York.
Okay.
There was a fake news report that came out as like an advertisement for this before the movie came out, where one of their oil rigs, the one that happened to be closest to New York, was broken down. Like, it just there's a video of it and it just falls down. So, another thing that I don't remember how to get to, how people found it, or what the deal was, but there's a bunch of different websites I'm not sure if you can anymore, but you could go to back then. There are pictures underwater, under the rig, of that monster asleep.
Oh.
And then there's another one of it awake and angry in the water. So, knowing that, what is your take on it so far? There's a little bit more, but what's your take on this so far? It's a lot to take in, I know, but
So, I'm assuming the company knows what's going on with this monster.
yeah, they've been most likely they've been like prodding it and poking it and trying to figure out what it is and how it works. So, and that's another thing.
Or the oil rig is not actually an oil rig.
Yeah, that's another theory. Is that it's just they built other oil rigs, but they built those to disguise that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like this one's like a science lab or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
And it didn't actually sink. It was a controlled sink as you get close to the monster.
Well, the thing that happened is the monster woke up and it was angry and confused and didn't know what was going on, so it tore down the oil rig, is what people think, and then it made its way towards New York. That's what people think happened, and that there's no proof of what actually happened or whatever. But this is all like speculation of what probably happened.
Knowing this, is some of this stuff coming from the other two movies, or is this all speculation?
There is more happening in the other two movies that kind of tags. And there's actually a scene, watching this after watching the YouTube videos, I saw a bunch of scenes that they were talking about that I was like, oh yeah, there is. There's a scene where there's an overturned ship that's on fire, and you can see the Tagarato logo on there, but that's just an Easter egg for that being a company there. So it does take... Tagarato does become a bigger thing later on, I will say.
Gotcha.
In the other two. So... Have any words of wisdom for that?
Man, I just watched the movie, man.
But this is why I like this movie so much. Is because there's so much. I liked finding out the story. It was so much fun to find out the story, and it's more fun when you can see the actual pictures. And something I was going to say is that one of the pictures of the monster underneath the thing was just of the monster's back or something with those fleas still on it, like just crawling around on top of it. So they were attached to him before he even woke up.
So is this thing like an alien or something?
We don't know.
Because my other theory was the oil rig wasn't there to study it, but it made it.
That could also be. Tagarato is apparently a big company and does some very bad things sometimes. Because they're a big company, they're trying to like test the limits of science or whatever.
Because if they genetically modified it and then the fleas start sucking it, that may have morphed them into those monsters.
It could be. Yeah. Oh, I know the other thing I was going to ask you about. The thing at the end falling into the water. What did you think that was? And like, what did you think about that in general?
That's what made me think it might be an alien.
Exactly. That's actually, before I saw any of those YouTube videos, my dad was like, you need to watch this movie, and at the very end of it, watch the end scene that's not taking place in Manhattan. Like, it's taking on Long Island, I think is where they're at. Coney Island. And there's a thing that falls into the water. And the speculation was that it fell from space, hit the water, and took a month or however long it had been to get to New York, because it was so far out. And on its way there, it hit the oil rig, and then just went to New York and did something like that. That's another theory.
It has to have time to grow as well.
True. It has to have time. And it could have been knocked out when it landed in the water, too. Who knows? So...
Was that like a pod, or was that it? It looked like a pod.
I know. It looked like... It's hard to tell, really. It's so far away, and it's on a video camera. It's hard to tell. There's one other thing in this movie that I really liked. It's kind of a secret thing. At the end of the credits, which we didn't wait through because it's 10 minutes. It was insane.
We could have skipped.
Yeah, we could have skipped. But at the very end, you hear, you hear radio static, like from the government, and you hear somebody say something that sounds like "help me" or something like that, and it's really weird. It doesn't sound exactly like "help me." It's very strange, but people have reversed it, and it very clearly says it's still alive. Backwards. So after they nuked it and everything like that, it's still alive. Which is a great way, I think, to end off this movie.
But who said it?
Somebody from the government. Somebody who nuked it, I guess, that was still alive to see it not dead.
Huh.
So...
All I gotta say is that is the most sturdy video camera I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, seriously. It like fell out of a helicopter. No, it fell with a helicopter in a helicopter crash. Almost got eaten by the monster. Hit by a nuke. Like, that's the biggest one. But that explains why the monster is so tough. Is if it was underwater for that long, it's used to that kind of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So like bombs and stuff doesn't do anything to it because it's so used to, it's got some thick skin. So I've done my ranting. If you have something else you want to say, I like talking about this movie. It's such a good movie, and I'm glad I could talk to somebody about it without them just being like, you're stupid. What are you talking about? I tried to talk about this to people at school, and they're just like, okay, it's just a movie. I'm like, but it's not. It's not though. You need to look at all of this stuff. Yeah,
it's an experience.
And like I said, you'll find out more
whenever we watch Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, and then the newest one, which is Cloverfield Paradox. And I said it before, you'll be disappointed with 10 Cloverfield Lane, and then Cloverfield Paradox does a really good job at sort of tying everything back together. But they're also planning on making like 2 more Cloverfield movies or something like that. Gosh. So who knows what's actually going to happen.
J.J. Abrams still directing them all?
Yeah, he did the other 2. I'm not sure if he's doing those.
Side rant. They should not have switched directors in Star Wars.
Yeah. You were talking about this
Nothing makes sense anymore. We'll get to that with you too.
Yeah.
You'll be disappointed.
Something about Leia flying through space. I don't know.
Oh, so you have seen stuff?
I've heard it. You think you told me about it?
All right. I don't really have anything else to say.
Okay.
It was a really good movie.
Do you have any questions or anything that I might be able to answer? Even if you're not that interested in it, I'd be happy to answer. Because it seems like you're kind of like, this is a lot. I don't know if I want to take this.
This is a lot to take in, man.
It is.
I really think before I start asking questions, I need to see the next one.
You need to see the other ones, yeah.
Because it seems like there's not that much information in this one
specifically. And that's the thing. This one came out in 2008. Mm-hmm. It was there for a while. There was a ton of fans.
10 Cloverfield Lane coming out in like 2015?
2016. It took 8 years for the next one to come out. So people were like... There was a small, very strong group of fans of the first movie. And they wanted a second one, knowing that the monster was still alive from the end, They wanted a second one of it somewhere else or something, And hearing that 10 Cloverfield Lane was coming out, had the same name in it, same, like, font and everything, like, same everything. People got really, really excited. And it had been 8 years. So, and then since the first movie was, I think, intended to be a standalone movie...
It seems like it.
They have to kind of stretch some stuff to connect it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's still pretty neat. I'm still a fan of this franchise. I
like
guess.
The mystery.
Yeah.
I hope they don't ruin that in future movies.
Yeah, because you still really don't know exactly what's happening after even Cloverfield Paradox.
I like that.
Yeah. So. That's our Cloverfield experience, I guess. Hope you had fun listening to me talk constantly, because I enjoy talking about it.
Sorry, I'm just kind of sitting here.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. I just wanted to tell somebody about this that hasn't even heard about it before. It's really neat.
I guess I should give it a rating.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give it 8.4
Okay.
10.
Can you understand why it's my favorite monster movie?
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Definitely better than Godzilla.
Yeah,
just saying.
Godzilla was alright. People were actually saying Godzilla is basically Cloverfield 2 featuring Godzilla. Because the only monster that causes damage is not Godzilla until like the very end. I remember when that came out, I was like, yeah, it's basically what this is.
It seems like they're trying to turn Godzilla into the hero.
Yeah.
Which is kind of accurate to an extent, but...
He destroyed stuff until somebody else started destroying stuff. And he's like, hey, this is my stuff to destroy. I'm going to destroy you.
Before we go on any more tangents, thank you guys for listening to this.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Talking to you, Wesley.
Give us some movies you want us to watch that we may not have seen or something, and we can talk about that on here if you would like.
It seems like I'll be experiencing Cloverfield, that franchise.
Yeah, and I'll be experiencing Star Wars.
Yeah.
And we'll go
maybe
from there.
after that, Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, I want to watch Lord of the Rings.
Good stuff.
It's good. Good movies.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
The movies are so good.